Resident Evil 2 is a remake of the original Resident Evil 2 released in 1998. The game was announced back in 2015 when Capcom gave the green light on a remake. For years, Resident Evil fans waited in anticipation for some news. Eventually, in 2018, Capcom released the trailer for the game at Sony's E3 conference. The trailer instantly excited fans and gamers who were intrigued to see Capcom return to their roots. After much anticipation, the game was finally released on January the 25th, 2019. Within the first week, Resident Evil 2 sold 3 million copies, becoming a top seller in a number of countries including the UK. By December of that year, Resident Evil 2 had sold 5.8 million copies. Upon its release, the game received universal acclaim, with the game being nominated for a number of awards including Game of the Year, and won a number of awards including Ultimate Game of the Year. Resident Evil 2's popularity has not died down since its release in 2019, with the game continuing to sell well over the years. For example, in 2021, 9.3 million copies of the game had been sold. By 2023, this number had gone up to 11.2 million copies. As a result, Resident Evil 2 is one of the best-selling horror games of all time. So are you ready to re-enter the world of survival horror?
Look, man, I'm serious, okay? I saw this with my own eyes.
Oh, I believe you, buddy. I believe you. Just tell us a story. Tell us a story.
Okay, well, it was last Friday night. I was walking home from the bar, and this woman started coming towards me. She was staggering, you know, so I figured she was drunk.
Whoa. Okay, tell us, be honest now. How many drinks did you have?
No, man, I barely had a buzz on.
Oh, come on.
Look, just listen, all right? She got closer, and I got a good look at her. You got to see her eyes, her nose, her whole face. It looked like it was rotting.
Yeah.
She looked like a corpse, like a walking corpse, man.
Sounds like my wife.
I've never seen anything like it. I haven't been able to sleep since that night.
All right, calm down, buddy. Calm down. Just, hey, you gotta stay strong, okay? Don't give in to fear out there, right?
Yeah, well, you got that right. If you freeze up around these things, they'll sink their teeth in you. I should attack somebody.
Oh, come on. Just getting good. I need some sleep. Oh, shit!
We begin this story in the dead of night. Leon is making his way into Raccoon City. On the way there, he stops off for some gas. As Leon approaches, he immediately knows something is wrong. Nobody seems to be around, yet there are empty cars everywhere, including a police car. Leon makes his way towards the building in order to investigate.
Hello? Anybody there?
Something's not right.
With no one calling back, Leon makes his way into the building. It is not long into this search that Leon finds an injured man, who points towards a door. Leon can hear what sounds like a struggle. He tells the injured man to stay put while he investigates. As Leon enters the room, however, the injured man for some reason locks the door. Leon cannot get out. He has no choice but to continue forwards. As Leon enters the next room, the nightmare begins.
Stop moving.
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir. I got this. Hey! Wait now!
Horrified, Leon needs to find a way out and quickly. He shoots at the attacker but he refuses to go down. Eventually, after a couple of shots to the head, it seems to collapse to the ground. Leon grabs the key and makes his way out of the room. Meanwhile, Claire Redfield is approaching the gas station as well, in the hope of refueling before continuing on into Raccoon City to look for her brother Chris. Almost immediately after getting off her bike, she is surrounded by a swarm of the undead. Leon is not faring much better in the shop. He is surrounded by a number of the undead and does his best to avoid their attacks. As Leon approaches the front door, he runs into Claire.
Don't shoot!
Get down! You alright?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks.
You can thank me later, when we're safe.
Holy shit.
Come on! Get in! Hold on.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Hopefully they'll have some answers at the police station.
Wait, you're a cop?
Yeah, Leon Kennedy. You are?
Claire. Claire Redfield.
Live around here?
No. I'm looking for my brother. He's a cop too.
Well, it's a good thing we found each other. I don't know what to expect anymore.
Claire and Leon use the abandoned cop car as a getaway vehicle. They continue to make their way into Raccoon City in the hopes of finding some answers to what is happening. Their nightmare, however, has only just begun.
Attention all citizens. Due to the citywide outbreak, you are advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station. Free food and medical supplies will be provided to everyone in need.
Oh my god, this is so unreal.
Police station's not much farther. They'll know something.
Yeah, but what if we're the only ones? What if there's no
No,
survivors?
there's survivors. It's a big city. There has to be. Looks like we're walking from here.
More like running.
Yeah, good call.
Leon, you gotta back up. What the?
Holy shit. There, get out. Get out now! Hold on!
With Leon and Claire separated, they must make their own way towards the police station. Leon very quickly is attacked by a horde of the undead. He knows he has to get off the streets as quickly as possible. As Leon makes his way through the apocalyptic streets, the undead seem to be coming from everywhere. Leon does what he can to avoid them and eventually he is able to make it to the police station. He makes his way in and shuts the gate behind him. For now at least, Leon has escaped the undead. Leon makes his way into the police station and begins to search the area. It is obvious that something bad has happened here. During his search, Leon finds a laptop. He decides to use it in the hopes of finding some answers.
There has to be someone here. Not good.
David! Marvin! You there? I found a way out! It's in here! Send reinforcements! East hallway!
I gotta find that guy.
Leon knows he must find a way to get to the police officer. He makes his way towards the east shutter. Upon pressing the lever, the shutter does not open all of the way. Leon is going to have to crawl under it. Leon can barely see. He knows what could be lurking in these corridors, but he also knows what will happen to the police officer if he doesn't get there in time. Leon continues on through the dark hallways, making sure to scan every corner of the room. Something very bad happened in these corridors. Leon knows he must be quick, as there are bodies everywhere. Eventually, Leon makes it to the shutter. It is here that he meets the police officer he saw on the CCTV.
I'll get you out!
Please!
Give me your hand.
Help me!
I got you. Give me your other hand. Jesus Christ.
Despite Leon's best efforts, the officer is dead. He takes the notebook and begins to make his way out. Unfortunately, the noise has awoken the undead. Leon must fight his way through them in order to escape. After fighting his way through the zombie-filled corridors, Leon is eventually able to make it to the shutters. He must crawl through them before the undead get to him, otherwise he will end up like the other police officer.
God damn it!
Watch out!
You're safe. For now.
Thanks.
Marvin Browner.
Leon Kennedy. There was another off strike. I couldn't...
Here. I'm sure you did what you could, Leon.
Does anyone know what started this?
Not a clue. But honestly, all you need to know is that this place will eat you alive if you aren't careful.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
You're here now, Leon. That's all that matters.
Okay, Lieutenant, I'm ready.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot. He thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
This is good news. We can get you to a hospital.
No, I am not the priority here.
Lieutenant, I'm not just gonna leave you here.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first. I'd come with you, but I'd just slow you down. Now, you'll need this.
I can't take him.
Stop. And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate. You take it out, or you run. Got it?
Yes, sir.
With that good piece of advice, Leon continues onwards in the hopes of finding a way out of the city. Leon makes his way through the west wing of the station. Not long into his search, he comes across something horrific.
Touchdown at RPD. Minute, I repeat.
What could have done this? The claw marks on the wall suggest that there is something else lurking around the building. Continuing on, Leon is very quickly attacked by a number of the undead. The chilling atmosphere is enough to scare anyone, but Leon continues to push forwards. While searching the west wing of the station, Leon enters the evidence room. He notices that there is a locker that needs a card. He continues his search, keeping an eye out for the key card. It is at this time that Claire makes her way towards the police station. There doesn't seem to be a way in as everywhere is locked or chained up. Claire begins to search the area in the hopes of finding a key. After searching for some time, Leon manages to find the spade key. With the new item, Leon continues searching the station. Perhaps this new key will lead him to some new areas. As Leon searches the station, he notices that there is something crawling on the outside of the building.
What in the...
Leon has no time to find out what it was. He makes his way into the attic room and finds some C4. In order to use it, Leon will need to find the detonator. As Leon makes his way into the next room, he receives a call from Marvin.
Leon, it's Marvin. I need you back here ASAP.
Are you okay, Marvin?
I've got something to show you. It's important.
Copy that. I'll be right there.
Leon makes his way back to Marvin to see what he wants to show him.
There you are. Come here. Take a look.
Yes! I knew she'd make it.
You know her?
Yeah. Name's Claire. I came into town with her.
You can get to that courtyard. Through the second floor. East side.
I'm on it.
Leon now knows that Claire is here too. He begins to make his way over to her in the hopes that the two can be reunited. As Leon makes his way over, he finds the weapon key card. He can use this when he gets back to the evidence room later on. For now, he continues on. As Leon continues making his way through the dimly lit corridors, he hears a helicopter. Unfortunately, this helicopter would not be their key to escaping. It crashes into the side of the building. He has no time to think. He makes his way out of the building, and it is here that he finds Claire.
Hey! Leon?
Claire! Hold on! I'll be right there!
Okay!
Claire! It's so nice to see you.
How are you doing? That helicopter just came out of nowhere.
I'm in one piece.
I'm guessing you don't have a key in one of those fancy pockets?
Unfortunately, no. But how are you doing?
You know, just surviving.
That's good.
Yeah.
Any luck with your brother?
No, not yet.
Claire, don't lose hope. I'm sure we're gonna find him. Damn it. You know what that means?
Yeah. Dinner time.
Claire, I think you should go.
Don't worry about me, Leon. You take care of yourself.
Claire, you need to go. Now!
Okay, let's get through this. Both of us.
Claire and Leon are still separated from each other. Due to the helicopter crash, the undead are everywhere. The two go their separate ways. Claire grabs the bolt cutters by the gate and makes her way through the oncoming horde. She uses the bolt cutters to open the chain door. In there, she picks up a number of items, including a new weapon and the key to the gate. She makes her way back to the gate and uses the key to open it. Once through, Claire begins exploring the station. Meanwhile, as Claire goes off with a pair of bolt cutters, Leon finds another pair within the station. On his way back, it seems that Marvin is not responding to his radio. Leon makes his way back to the main hall to check on him. Marvin is still alive, but Leon knows he does not have much time left. Leon continues his search. He makes his way into the evidence room and uses the weapon key card to unlock the locker containing a shotgun and some shells. With these new items, Leon feels better about being able to deal with the undead. Leon makes his way back up the stairs and towards the shower room. He uses the valve he found in the offices to turn the steam off. Leon continues on through this room and makes his way into the corridors of the second floor. It is here that he sees the monster.
What in God's name?
Leon slowly walks through the hall, making sure not to make any sound. It seems the monster cannot see. As long as Leon is quiet, all should be okay. In this hall is the Star's office. Leon makes his way into this room in the hopes of finding more information about what happened here. Leon manages to grab a couple of items here, including a battery. However, there is a locked off area he cannot access yet. With that, he makes his way out of the room and into the corridor. Leon slowly makes his way through, unlocking the door on the opposite side. He is back in the library. Leon notices that the statues around the station match up with what is written in the book. He uses it to find the first medallion. With this new item, Leon makes his way through the library, where he finds a red book. He knows this will come in handy later on. Leon makes his way back into the main hall where he sees another statue. He uses the book again to get the second medallion. Leon only needs one more. He makes his way back to the second floor where he combines the book he found in the library with the statue's hand. This gives him the red gemstone. Leon explores more of the west wing. After using the bolt cutters again, he is able to find a detonator. He combines the battery with this. He can now use the detonator to blow up the C4, allowing him to get to the last statue and collect the last medallion. Leon begins making his way over to the attic room. Once there, he places the detonator on the C4 and sets the timer at 10 seconds. Leon hides behind a wall. Once detonated, the noise attracts the monsters. Leon knows he needs to be quick. He uses the notebook again to get the last medallion. With that, he makes his way back to the main hall in order to insert all 3 medallions into the statue. As he does this, however, Leon is attacked by a licker. He fights for his life and manages to defeat it. With that, he makes his way back to the main hall.
So it goes underground. Huh. That's it. That's our way out. Lieutenant Branna! Marvin! It's time to go. Hey, Marvin. We need to get you to a hospital right now.
No, save yourself.
Come on, I've got you.
Go!
Look, we can still make it out of here together. Just can...
It's too late. I tried, Leon. But I couldn't stop it. We can't let this thing spread. It's on you now. Just go.
I understand. I won't let you down, Marvin.
Leon takes the lift down and makes his way towards the lower levels of the RPD. He continues onwards further into the tunnels. It is not too long into this search that Leon climbs up a ladder that leads to the car park. Leon knows something is nearby. He hears the distant howls of something.
Damn. Need a key card. You gotta be kidding me. Get off of me!
Hey,
Who is that?
stay sharp. Lower it. FBI.
Sorry. Thank you. For your help.
Surprised you made it this far.
FBI, huh? What's going on here?
Sorry, that information's classified.
Where you going?
Do yourself a favor. Stop asking questions and get the hell out of here.
With that, Ada leaves Leon. He goes after her to see what he can learn about the current situation. Leon makes his way into the jail cells in search of Ada. Unfortunately, everyone in there seems to be dead. It is in this room that Leon finds Ben.
Hello?
Hey,
I don't believe it. A real human. Hello, human.
you been here long?
Long enough. Are we the last ones alive?
No, there's a few of us.
Huh. That's good news, I guess.
Yeah.
That's of course Iron sent you.
Irons. You mean Chief Irons? Is he still around?
Who cares? Hopefully he's somebody's dinner by now.
What do you mean by that?
He's the bastard that locked me in here.
I'm sure he had a good reason.
He did. I was about to blow the whistle on his dirty ass. I'd have done the same thing to him, I guess. Hey, I'll make you a deal. Unlock this cell and I'll give you this. There's no other way out of that parking garage, believe me.
Sorry, I can't do that. I have to talk to the chief first.
Look, we're both prisoners in this station. So either we play nice and help each other out, or... Shit. It's coming.
What? What's coming?
Come on. Come on, don't be an asshole. Okay, you need this. Just get me the fuck out of here!
Oh my god. Who is that?
It's just me. So you can put that thing away.
I don't even know what happened. It just happened so quick.
I told you to get out of here. You wouldn't want to end up like Ben, would you?
You knew him?
He was an informant. Had information of use to my investigation.
So what he said was true? Hey, you can't keep walking away from me! I don't even know your name. I'm Leon Kennedy.
Find a way out, Leon. Before it's too late. Then we'll talk. Name's Ada.
Well, I guess the deal's on.
Whatever that monster is, Leon doesn't want to stick around to find out. He needs to find a way into the cell in order to grab the parking ticket. Leon grabs the square crank and begins his search of the new area. Meanwhile, Claire is exploring the RPD offices. In there she's able to grab a number of items including a valve. This may come in handy later. She then makes her way through an open shutter and towards the lower levels of the RPD. However, the door is locked. Claire makes her way back up the stairs and is able to find an open door. In there she picks up some ammo and a fuse. She can use this to get into the main hall of the RPD. With this she makes her way back to the fuse box. Once there she inserts the fuse and makes her way into the main hall. Once there she encounters a number of the undead. It is clear that if Leon was here, he is now gone. Claire cannot stay here for long. She grabs all the items she can. She finds some scrap paper, but she is unable to use much of it. What she does find out is that the statues have puzzles that can help lead to her escaping. Before she leaves, she decides to check the laptop to see if there is anything there that she can use.
Bet he's not part of the rescue squad.
Claire now knows that something else is in the station with her. She knows that she will have to be on her guard at all times. Claire makes her way into the west wing of the police station. As she makes her way through this room, she sees something crawl across the window. As Claire makes her way through the tight corridors of the next room, she sees it. Claire does not have the firepower to take this thing on, so instead she slowly creeps by it. She continues walking slowly through the rest of the corridor before eventually making it to the operations room. She uses the bolt cutters again and makes her way into the records room. Claire continues on, and after fighting her way through some more zombies, she is eventually able to get to the weapons storage locker. She uses the key card in order to grab a rocket launcher with some flame rounds. With this, she continues on. Meanwhile, Leon is exploring the lower levels of the RPD. The hallways are dark and Leon can barely see. He can hear though, and he knows that there is something down there. Leon continues onwards and notices that there are dog cages that have been bashed open. He must be on high alert. Leon continues through this room and into the morgue. In there he begins searching. After looking for some time, Leon is able to find the diamond key. It is also at this point that the dead attack. After fighting his way out of the room, Leon uses the crank he found earlier to open up the shutter. He enters the power room and finds a box of electrical parts that he can use to open up Ben's cell. In the room, Leon is also able to restore power to the hallways. As Leon does this, all hell breaks loose. The dogs are coming from everywhere. Leon needs to get out of there. He runs for his life, shooting and dodging the oncoming attacks. After a terrifying few minutes, Leon is able to get out of there and into the dark car park. Unfortunately, there are more dogs waiting for him here. Leon quickly uses the key to open up the boot of a car. He grabs the Matilda attachment and runs back towards the now unlocked electronic door. He makes his way through there and he is finally back in the police station. Leon makes his way through the police station in the hopes of getting to the clock tower in order to get the rest of the electrical pieces needed to grab Ben's parking ticket. While this is happening, Claire makes her way to the second floor to see what information she can find out about her brother Chris. She makes her way into the Star's office. There are plenty of items here, but not much information on Chris. All that is left is a memo from Leon, informing Claire that her brother is not here. Claire now needs to find a way out of here. As Claire leaves the Star's office, she is attacked by the Tyrant.
Jesus, stay back!
Claire runs for her life. She makes her way back down the stairs and eventually she is able to lose him. With that scare out of the way, Claire continues on into the library. While in the library, Claire is able to grab the first medallion. She does this by deducing what is written down on the scrap of paper she found in the main hall. In the library, Claire is also able to pick up a red book. Claire makes her way to the second floor and through into the art room. While heading through there, Claire is able to grab some film. She makes a note to herself to go down to the red room at some point to see what's on it. Once Claire reaches the art room, she combines the book with the statue, which enables her to obtain the jewel. With this, she continues exploring. She combines this box with the jewel in order to grab the Star's badge. With this new item, she makes her way back to the STARS office. Once there, she uses the STARS badge to unlock the weapons storage room. In there, she grabs the machine gun but also finds a letter from Chris that she thinks is strange. Claire then makes her way down the stairs to see what's on the film. On there is the code to the lion statue. She makes her way there and inserts the code to grab the second medallion. Claire makes her way to the main hall where she picks up a scrap of paper. This gives Claire the code for the maiden statue. She goes up to the attic room and is able to grab the third medallion. Now that she has all three, Claire inserts them into the statue. Once she does this, Claire makes her way down into the lower levels of the RPD. As she heads down there, she hears something above her.
Hello? Hello?
Claire has no idea what that was, so she continues onwards. It is here that she meets Sherry.
I won't budge.
Hello? Hey. It's okay. I won't hurt you, I promise. Do you need help? Here, you can take my hand.
You need help.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
You need help.
Why?
He's right behind you.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
Claire knows that she must fight for her life. The monster is violent and Claire does her best to dodge his oncoming attacks. She notices that there is an eye on his arm. She focuses on that. After using the grenade launcher and pistol, the monster falls over the side of the platform. Claire makes her way back to the girl.
Hey, little girl. It's safe now. It's over.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I promise. Everything's fine. I just need you to lower that ladder for me.
Will you help me find my mom?
Your mom is down here?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, of course. I'll help you.
The two decide to continue on together. After some time, the two reach a ladder. They climb up it and end up in the car park that Leon was in earlier. Here they meet a new monster.
Damn it. We need a key card. Hold on. Here, come hop. And you're sure this is the way?
This is how my mom took me last time.
Sherry? I've been looking everywhere for you, Sherry. Brave little girl to leave your house in the middle of this mess. On the ground, hands behind your head.
You can't be serious.
On the ground, now. Sherry, tie her hands.
Why are you doing this?
Shut up. Tie her. Okay then. You tie her up now, or she dies.
What's this all about?
Child endangerment for starters. Sherry, come here.
What are you gonna do to her?
None of your fucking business.
If you hurt her, I swear to God, my brother is stars and I will
Sherry, get over here. What's your name? What's your fucking name?
Claire!
Sherry, you come with me now, or say goodbye to Claire.
Okay, I'll go. You better be taking me to my mom.
Absolutely.
Don't listen to him, he's full of shit.
Stop hurting her, please!
Don't tell me how to do my job.
Stop! Let me go! Let me go!
Obviously, nobody taught you manners. We'll fix that. Oh, yes, we will.
Let me go! Let me go!
I'll get you, you fucker! Stay safe, Sherry.
With Sherry gone, Claire must find a way to get her back. She needs to find a parking ticket. Claire makes her way into the dark hallways of the basement area. In there, she is able to obtain a car key. She uses this back in the car park to obtain a new weapon, the JMB HP3. With this new weapon, she makes her way back into the halls and towards the kennels. As she approaches the door, she notices that something is down there with her. As she enters the room, a licker is in front of her feeding on a dead dog. Claire shoots at the licker and very quickly takes out the other one in the room too. It is clear that someone has already been down here and has dealt with the dogs. That someone, of course, was Leon. With the lickers dealt with, Claire makes her way into the morgue. She begins searching the compartments and eventually is able to find the diamond key. She makes her way back around the halls and through the kennels. Claire makes her way through the door she saw the police chief come from. She uses the diamond key to get the lift back in operation. With the elevator now in operation, Claire makes her way into it. The elevator takes Claire to Chief Irons' office. She begins searching around and very quickly finds emails sent to Chief Irons. It seems that he was on Umbrella's payroll. Claire makes her way out of his office and into his private art collection. In there is a room that Claire cannot enter. It seems that she will need to find some electronic components in order to open the door. Despite not being able to get through the door, she is able to obtain the heart-shaped key. With that, Claire makes her way back into the police station to search for the electrical components. Claire makes her way down to the interrogation room. In there, she picks up a couple of items. As she leaves, she is attacked. Claire quickly makes her way into the other room and grabs whatever items are there and then leaves. She makes her way into the east storage room. In there she finds the electrical components she needs and the cog for the clock tower. All Claire needs now is a way of getting to the third floor. Claire then makes her way outside where she sees the helicopter crash. She needs to find a way to put the fire out. She heads down towards the boiler room and hits the switch. She then makes her way back towards the helicopter and pumps the water. This pumps the water towards the crash, putting the fire out. Once Claire does this, she makes her way back inside. As she does, the tyrant approaches. Claire runs for her life. She climbs back up the ladder and hides, hoping to get around him and back towards the main areas of the police station. Once there, Claire begins to look for a way to get to the records room. As she makes her way there, she recalls there being a door with a heart-shaped lock. She successfully makes her way through and in there is a jack handle. This will help her to get to the clock tower. Claire makes her way over to the library. Here she uses the jackhammer to release the bookshelves. Claire needs to drag them over in order to create a bridge so she can cross. Things will not be easy, however, as the tyrant is on her tail the whole time. After some difficult planning, Claire is able to move all the bookcases into place and get across. With the tyrant in hot pursuit, Claire makes her way into the clock tower. She solves a puzzle in order to get the bell working again. Once she does, she is able to obtain the second set of electrical components. With this, she makes her way back to the private arts collection room. During this time, Leon has been searching for electrical components too. Fairly quickly, Leon is able to grab a cog from the west storage room. The room itself is dark, and Leon has to do his best to avoid the zombies creeping around the tight paths. After getting out of the east storage room, Leon makes his way down towards the boiler room. Somehow the fire has started again. Leon goes to get the water pump working again. To do this, he makes his way into the boiler room. In there, he finds the club key. This will help Leon in his search for the electrical components. Leon leaves the room and makes his way back to the water pump. After he deals with the fire once again, Leon meets the tyrant.
Jesus Christ!
Leon runs for his life with the tyrant in pursuit. The first place he decides to go to is the records room. At some point during the chase, the tyrant loses sight of Leon, and for now he can relax. Leon makes his way to the records room. He uses the club key to open it. In there, Leon picks up the jack handle. He knows he can use this to move the bookshelves in the library. As Leon makes his way there, the tyrant is in pursuit. Somehow the bookshelves have already been moved. This is of course because of Claire. After avoiding the oncoming attacks, Leon is eventually able to make it to the 3rd floor. Leon solves a gear-based puzzle to get the clock tower bell working again. Once this happens, Leon is able to obtain the second set of electrical components. He can now make his way back towards Ben's cell. Before he does, however, Leon makes his way to the interrogation room, where he uses the club key to open up the locked door. In there, he finds a box. Upon examining it, he knows he needs to use the red jewel to open it. The window to the other side is smashed due to Claire's encounter with the liquor earlier on in the night. There is not much in there for Leon to grab apart from some ammunition. He then makes his way out of the room. It is here that the tyrant has been waiting for him. Leon runs for his life. The tyrant seems determined to get to Leon at all costs. After a prolonged chase, Leon is able to get away from the tyrant. After retrieving the jewel, Leon combines it with the box. Within the box is a STARS badge. Upon further inspection, it is a USB dongle. Leon now makes his way back to the STARS office. Once there, he uses the dongle to unlock the armory. In the armory, Leon is able to obtain the Magnum revolver. This will come in handy when it comes to dealing with the undead and whatever monsters are lurking around. With that, Leon makes his way down to the jail cells. Once there, he uses the electrical components to get the power back on. Once Leon does this, the jail cell doors open and he is able to get to the parking garage key card.
That doesn't explain the rumors about the orphanage. I just find it way too coincidental Umbrella's one of the benefactors.
You told me this interview was about the new scholarship Umbrella set up.
Come on, Annette. Nobody cares about that. They want to know about the G virus and that big fucking sinkhole in the city, which, by the way, rumor has it goes straight to your underground lab. Now, are you going to talk to me, or are you going to...
This interview is over.
As Leon leaves the cells, the alarms go off. Every cell door is now open.
Give me a break.
After fighting his way out of the jail cells, Leon makes his way back to the parking lot with the tyrant in pursuit.
saving your ass. That's twice.
I didn't realize you were keeping score.
Look, this isn't a game.
You're gonna kill me.
Nothing dies down here. I take it you have the key card.
Yeah, and this. I was hoping you could explain what's on it.
Maybe. After I hear it. Let's get out of here.
At last, Leon and Ada are able to get out of the police station. They continue on together. Meanwhile, Claire is back in Chief Irons' private art room. In there, she inserts the electrical components and then finds a way to connect everything together. After some tinkering, the electricity is restored, and Claire is able to make her way into the room.
Hello?
Good to see you again, Claire. We've got unfinished business.
Where's that?
In the neighborhood. You'll find it.
Sherry all right?
For now.
I swear, you bastard, if you hurt her...
Stupid kid. If you just hadn't dropped that fucking thing, I could let you go.
Don't worry, Sherry. It'll be all over soon.
There has to be a way out of here.
Sherry is scared, but she is brave. She decides that she will try and find a way out. Sherry solves a puzzle which gives her access to some scissors. With this, she is able to get out of the room. While making her way out, Sherry begins reading the diary entries of the kids that used to live here. It is clear that these kids were being used to experiment on. Sherry continues on through the hallways. Chief Irons is in the next room, and Sherry must enter in order to find a way out.
Oh no, it's him.
Where you going, Sherry? I told you to stay put. You need to learn to listen.
Leave me alone! Just please!
Time to teach some manners. You little bitch! You're gonna pay for this! You little shit!
Sherry has fought back, but this has enraged Chief Irons. Sherry runs for her life with him in pursuit. Eventually, she makes it back to the play area where she hides.
It's all over now! Doors locked! Where are you? Show yourself!
Sherry must hide from him at all costs. As he slowly makes his way around, Sherry does her best to avoid his light. Eventually, he opens a new way out. Sherry makes her way towards the other door. Sherry makes her way through, but the other door is also locked. She hides in the corner as Chief Irons gets closer and closer.
Oh, fuck! It burns!
Now is Sherry's chance to escape. She grabs the key and makes her way back to the other door. As she does, he spots her.
Fuck is my key? I see you.
Sherry makes her way towards the entrance. She has the keys, all she needs to do is make it out. As Sherry gets there, she uses the key.
What? Won't open!
Nice try, Sherry. I'm coming in, Sherry! The game is over. No! Now you're in trouble.
Let me go!
We've got unfinished business.
What are you talking about?
Don't waste my fucking time! Bring me the pendant, or Sherry dies.
The pendant? What do you need it for?
Do you want the girl to die?
Fine. Where are you?
The orphanage.
The orphanage. Where is that?
In the neighborhood. You'll find it.
Is Sherry all right?
For now.
I swear, you bastard, if you hurt her...
Meanwhile, Leon and Ada are making their way through the streets of Raccoon City. Not long into their walk, the two decide to make a detour through Kendo's gun shop. While in there, Leon picks up some items, including some ammo and a barrel extension for his shotgun. The two then make their way out the back door of the gun shop.
Don't move. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I said don't move.
I'm just passing through. I'm gonna ask you to lower that weapon.
I kill you are. You're gonna turn around and go right back out the way you came in.
I think your daughter needs help, sir.
Don't tell me how to deal with my daughter.
Drop it.
No! Wait!
Step aside. We need to terminate her before she turns.
Terminate. It's my fucking daughter.
Ada. Just let them be.
Emma? Sweetheart, I told you to stay put.
Daddy?
Daddy's here. Come here. Okay? Those fucking things outside. What they did to us. You're a cop. You're supposed to know something. How did this happen? Huh? She was our sweet little angel.
Mommy?
I was sleeping, honey. Okay? And I'm gonna put you to bed too, okay? Emma. Just go. Just give us some privacy.
know? It's one thing to keep the truth from me, but why him? I want to find out what's happening here, and stop whoever's behind it. Helping people like them? That's why I joined the Force.
My mission is to take down Umbrella's entire operation. We may not make it out.
Whatever it takes to save this city. Count me in.
On that somber note, Leon and Ada continue together. Leon decides he wants to help take Umbrella down. Ada informs Leon that the person they are looking for is Annette Birkin. The road comes to an abrupt end, so the two of them are forced to enter through some sewers in the hopes of finding Annette. Not long into their search, they discover that something is down there with them.
Jesus! That an earthquake?
I sure as hell hope so.
What the hell?
Stay sharp. God only knows what's down here.
Despite the warnings, the two continue deeper into the sewer. Leon jumps down into the lower area and realises that he is not alone.
Ugh. You sure this is the right way?
Unfortunately.
Wait there.
Leon runs for his life, making sure to avoid the monster's oncoming attacks. After dodging the attacks, Leon is able to jump down into a lower area of the sewer. The crocodile gets caught on a flammable pipe. Leon knows what to do.
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a bitch.
With that thing dealt with, Leon continues onwards. Luckily, Ada turns up to lock down a ladder for him. The two continue onwards together and eventually they make it to a lift. The two get in and continue on deeper into the sewers. It is here that they discuss the virus some more.
So let me get this straight. Umbrella sells monsters like that to who? Our military? Somebody else's?
They don't sell the monsters. They sell the viruses that make them. And Annette is who makes the viruses. Scary as that alligator was, Annette is far more dangerous.
The two make their way through the lower levels of the sewers. It is here that they meet Annette.
Definitely William's handiwork.
Identify yourself.
Annette Birkin.
She's who we're looking for?
Not much time. Need to dispose of it.
We're here for the G-virus.
That's not gonna happen.
I'm warning you, Doctor.
Oh, yeah?
Hey!
Stop!
Ada!
You'll never get the G-virus!
Didn't expect that from a scientist. Leon.
Forget about me. Just go. Stop her before she gets away.
Leon has been shot and is unconscious. It is up to Ada to continue on alone.
I'm right outside the facility, in pursuit of Annette. If it's not on her, it must be in the nest. Once it's in hand, I'll call for extraction.
Ada uses an EMI visualizer to continue onwards. During her search for Annette, Ada makes her way through the dark corridors of the sewers, having to deal with a number of the undead. After some close calls, Ada is able to continue on. It is here that she is attacked by the Tyrant. After using her EMI visualizer, Ada is able to get away from him. She realizes that she needs a wristband in order to continue. She enters the incinerator in order to pick one up. At the very end, Ada is able to find one. Unfortunately for her, Annette was waiting for her to enter it.
Bravo. Gonna burn me alive now?
You'll never get your filthy hands on the G.
I'm not the only one after it. You realize that?
And you won't die alone.
Ada uses the EMI visualizer to get out. With seconds to spare, the doors open. Ada has managed to make it out just in time. With that close escape, she continues her pursuit of Annette. After making her way further into the underground facility, she finally runs into Annette.
Enough with this cat and mouse game.
The game is over.
You lost. Tell me, is your husband still alive? Or did you kill him so you could take credit for G?
Interesting theory.
If you don't cooperate,
I'll get a sample from the nest. Over my dead body.
Where's Leon when I need him?
Ada is knocked off the side and collapses. Only Leon can help her now. Meanwhile, Claire makes her way back down to the car park. Here she uses the ticket to open up the gate. As she does this, however, the Tyrant attacks.
You again?
Claire does her best to avoid his attacks as the gate slowly rises. Eventually, after some time, she is able to make her way out of the car park, but the Tyrant is still in pursuit. Claire must think fast about where she will go from here. Luckily, at the same time, a couple of the undead open up a new way forward. She shoots her way through them and makes her way out of the area. It seems the Tyrant has lost sight of her for now. As Claire makes her way through the streets of Raccoon City, it is clear that the place is completely overrun. She must deal with a number of issues along the way. The first is the undead themselves. Luckily, Claire has dealt with these before. However, she is finally introduced to the Cerberus, who seem to be all over the streets of Raccoon City. Claire does her best to fight her way through them, making sure to continue moving at the same time. After a difficult walk through the streets, she eventually makes it to the orphanage.
Hang on, Sherry.
Claire begins her search for Sherry. While exploring the orphanage, it is clear by the documents Claire finds that the children were all killed due to their exposure to the virus. It is not too long into this search that Claire runs into Chief Irons, who does not seem to be doing too well.
Your fault!
What?
It took too long!
What happened? Oh, God. Get off me! Oh, my God! Jesus Christ!
Claire makes her way into Chief Irons' taxidermy room and goes down a ladder. It is here that Claire finds Sherry. It is also here, however, that the Tyrant returns. Claire and Sherry run for their lives. After some time, the pair eventually make it to an elevator. However, the tyrant is right behind them.
Sherry, come on! What'd you say?
Wake up. Wake up. Open your eyes. Hold still. Not infected.
Sherry? Where's Sherry?
Sherry's fine.
Do you know Sherry?
It's an impressive display of strength.
What happened to her?
We have to assess the situation.
Who are you? I'm Claire.
I didn't foresee this.
Excuse me. Where is she? Hello?
What?
Where's she?
Annette. Tell me, what happened to William?
I don't know. Who's that?
The creature responsible for this.
What? Can you help me find Sherry?
Seems to be evolving much faster than expected.
Where are you going?
Look, I don't have time to play 20 questions. Everything's under control.
I need to find Sherry.
My daughter is not your concern.
Claire awakens, and after a short conversation with Sherry's mother Annette, she begins her search for Sherry once again. Claire begins making her way through the sewers. After fighting her way through a number of the undead, Claire eventually finds Sherry.
What is this?
Sherry, I told you, I cannot leave here until my work is done.
That's what you always say.
Sherry?
Why didn't you stay in the house? It was safe there.
Hey, Sherry!
I was scared. Those things were everywhere, and...
You should have called the police. That's what we taught you.
I did, but nobody came, and you didn't answer your phone, so...
Sherry, I don't have time for this.
Oh no. Sherry! Sherry, I'm coming!
There is something wrong with Sherry, and Claire needs to get to her before it is too late. In order to do this, Claire must find some chest plugs. She begins her search for them. During her search, Claire makes her way to the bottom waterway. As Claire makes her way around, she is confronted with a new monster. Claire fights it off, using any ammunition she has left. She notices that there are weaknesses on its arm, so she focuses her firepower on it. After shooting its eye a number of times, it eventually dies. Claire continues on but must fight 2 more of these things. After dealing with them both, Claire is exhausted, but knows she must push onwards. She is able to make it to the supply storage room. It is here that she finds 2 of the plugs. In this room, Claire must solve a puzzle while battling against the undead. After thinking it through, she is eventually able to solve it. Now that she has the 2 plugs, she begins making her way back. Once there, she inserts them into the boxes before beginning her search for the last plug. Claire makes her way back down into the lower levels of the sewer. She uses the T-bar to open up some new areas. While exploring these new areas, Claire is eventually able to make her way around to the workroom. Once through the door, Claire finds the last plug. Now that she has this, she begins to make her way back to the monitor room, where she begins solving the chest plug puzzle. After some thinking, Claire is eventually able to solve the puzzle. Claire makes her way to the power room, where she solves a quick puzzle. This allows her to get the power working again. After some fiddling, she is able to put the power back on, but it is at this moment that the monster she fought before returns.
Shit!
Claire fights for her life to hold off the mutated tyrant. After a long fight, Claire is able to knock him off the edge, getting away from him for now. With the tyrant dealt with, Claire makes her way back to Sherry.
Sherry? Mommy's here. Sherry? Sherry, can you hear me? Oh no. Sherry? Claire? Sherry, are you alright? What are you doing? I'm here to help.
Sherry's been implanted. She can't be saved.
Are you fucking kidding me? You're her mother. Get in here! You don't understand. William is still out there, and if I don't stop him, this conversation is over. Wait! Wait! I can treat her. In my lab. It's not far away.
Mommy?
There's not enough time. Millions of lives are at stake. Sherry, Mommy loves you, sweetie. Goodbye.
Are you fucking kidding me? Sherry, don't worry. I will get you whatever you need, okay?
Oh, why are you doing this?
Because I care.
Thank you, Claire.
Claire is Sherry's last hope. She will do anything to make sure Sherry is saved. The two make their way towards the lab.
Here. Okay. Here you go. Just hold on, Sherry, okay? You're gonna be just fine. Hey. Are you okay?
Your jacket's so warm.
My brother gave it to me. You know it's supposed to be lucky?
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Are you kidding me? You were doing just fine without me, so I came along and got you all sorts of trouble. I have something of yours.
I don't want it.
Really? Why not? It's so pretty.
It's from my mom. For my birthday last year. All I really wanted was for her to be home more.
I know it seems like your mom doesn't care, but... Hey, Sherry, come here. Hey, hang in there, okay?
Now, arriving at Nest.
It's okay. I've got you. Come on.
Once there, Claire carries Sherry into the security room, where she leaves her to rest. Claire begins searching for the cure. She makes her way through the dark hallways in the hope of finding a way through the next door. It is not too long into this search that she realises that something very bad happened down here. Claire enters a dimly lit room where she is attacked by the lab's staff. Claire fights her way through them and eventually makes her way to the other side of the room. Through here, she's able to obtain the second level of security. With that, she makes her way back to the main entrance. Once there, she uses the wristband to open up the reception. This takes her to the central room, where she learns that she will need to gain level 3 access to get the vaccine. Claire also picks up a signal modulator. This may come in handy later on. Upon entering the only walkway she can go through, Claire finds a man against the glass. It looks as if the plant has killed him. Claire prepares herself and makes her way towards the plant.
Access.
As she knows she will need to grab the wristband. Almost immediately after going through this door, Claire is attacked by these plant-like monsters. She uses the spark shot to electrocute the monsters. She realises that this seems to be the most effective way to deal with them. Claire makes her way into the first room. In there she finds a vial and a note. The note refers to this plant as Plant 43. So it is indeed a successor to Plant 42. Claire learns that she must make a deadly toxin that will kill the plant. Claire leaves the building and continues to explore this area. She sees there is a hatch but she cannot open it. However, there is some sort of code on top. She goes back into the main room and types this code into the computer. This unlocks the hatch. Claire goes down the hatch and upon entering the next room, it is clear that something bad happened down here. She notices that there are claw marks on the walls. Claire must concentrate down here. She knows what caused those marks. Claire uses the signal modulator to turn the power back on. As she does, the dead begin to rise. To make matters worse, 2 lickers have jumped out of the vents too. Claire has to fight to survive this. Eventually, she manages to fight them all off. Claire makes her way back around to the greenhouse control room, where she uses the code found at the bottom of the DNA Helix trophy. This code unlocks the mixer in the drug testing lab. Claire makes her way back over and begins mixing the chemicals. Eventually she's able to get it just right. She then takes the vial of chemicals back down the hatch. She enters the low temperature testing lab where she inserts the vial. This freezes the herbicide. She takes this and inserts it into the machine in the greenhouse control room. This sprays the herbicide across Plant 43, causing parts of it to die. Claire can now grab the 3rd level access band. Once grabbed, Claire fights her way through a number of the plant-like monsters and makes it out of there alive. She uses this wristband to access the west area of the lab. Claire makes her way into the next room. It is here that she is able to find the vaccine.
Damn it. Oh, look at that. All right. Hell yeah. Got it.
Meanwhile, Leon awakens. Leon begins searching the sewers in the hopes of finding out what happened to Ada. Quickly into his search, he reaches a bridge and finds a plug with a chess piece on there. Leon knows this might come in handy later, so he grabs it. However, when he does this, the bridge he needs to cross moves. Leon knows that he must come back for this later on. As Leon makes his way into the sewers, he is attacked by a new type of monster. This thing can take a lot of damage, but after Leon shoots it a couple of times, it eventually dies and Leon is able to continue. Leon continues to make his way through the facility. While searching this area, he finds a number of dead Umbrella security members. Next to one of the bodies is a videotape. He hopes he can find a video player somewhere down in the sewers, so he can learn more about what happened down here. Eventually, Leon reaches the garbage disposal area. It is here that he finds Ada.
I don't like the sound of that. Come on. Ada.
Leon needs to find a way to get to Ada and fast. There is something else lurking down here and he doesn't want to stay down here to find out what it is. Luckily, in this room, Leon finds a video player. He inserts the video he found earlier and hits play.
Please. Oh, please, stop. Stop. No.
Over here, you freak!
Don't hurt him.
The virus. I'll bet those rats spread it.
Leon now knows how the virus spread. In the next room are plugs with chest pictures on them. Leon realises that he must find all the plugs in order to get the door open that will lead him to Ada. Very quickly into his search, Leon finds a cable car. This could be used to help them escape. He also finds a T-bar valve. He uses this to get around the underground area. Eventually he makes his way down to the lower levels of the sewer. In this area are plenty of these new monsters. Leon must fight to get through them. After a hefty battle against these new monsters, Leon is able to make his way through and into the next room, picking up a key in the process. In this room, Leon must solve a puzzle in order to obtain the 2 chess pieces. While solving the puzzle, Leon is pursued by the undead. After some trial and error, Leon is able to solve the puzzle, enabling him to take the 2 chess pieces as well as the flamethrower. This could come in handy later on. With that, Leon continues to explore the facility in the hope of getting the last chess piece. Leon uses the T-bar valve to open up a new area. This eventually takes him back to the bridge. Here he is finally able to pick up the last chess piece. He then makes his way back down towards the power room. Once there, Leon solves a chess-based puzzle, enabling him to open up the door. Through this door, Leon makes his way towards the power room. It is clear that something bad happened here. Despite his concerns, he turns the power back on and makes his way back towards Ada.
Come on. Ada! Ada, where are you?
Over here!
Ada! I was getting worried there for a sec.
I can't get it out.
I don't know if I should,
Just do it. I can't walk like this.
Okay. It's gonna hurt. Hold on.
I can do it myself.
Just relax, okay? So, what do we do now?
Get yourself out of here. Well, you still can.
I'm not just gonna leave you. Not like this.
You don't understand. The situation's worse than I thought.
You're not getting rid of me that easy. You protected me. Now it's my turn.
Didn't realize we were keeping score.
Grab my shoulder.
Don't push it, rookie.
Okay, just trying to help. Watch your step.
You want to help? We have to get to the nest.
Nest?
Umbrella's lab, right beneath us. Annette let it slip. That's where the virus samples are. You up for this?
I think I could fit it in my schedule.
Come on. We got work to do.
Yes, ma'am.
With Ada back on her feet, the two of them make their way towards the cable car. According to Ada, it is their only way out of this nightmare. The two get on board and begin making their way towards the nest.
You know what I was thinking? I can't wait for the FBI to raid Umbrella headquarters and take those bastards to justice.
I agree, but to be clear, you're not working in official capacity. This is a federal case. Once we get the G-virus, I'm back on my own. Hey, Leon. Trust me?
Trust me?
Honestly, if I didn't, you'd probably be dead.
Right.
I thought I might need your help, and I was right. If you can secure the G-Virus, I can make sure what happened in Raccoon City never happens again.
Ada, you said it yourself. It's a federal case. I don't
Leon,
have the authority.
Look at me. I'm a liability now. If I'm gonna finish this case, you're the last hope I've got.
I'm not just gonna leave you here. What if you're attacked? What if you need help?
I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I gotta see this through. And I want to see you again. I got plenty to live for, trust me.
Now, arriving at Nest.
Go. Please, we don't have much time. You're gonna need this.
Okay.
Leon. Counting on you.
I know.
Now that Claire has what she needs, she begins making her way back towards Sherry. It is at this moment that she is attacked by the Tyrant.
Your ass again! William! This ends now. What the hell is this thing?
That was my husband.
She is my creation! Oh!
William!
I should have killed him while I had the chance. I don't know why, I just couldn't do it.
He was your husband.
Honestly, we were more married to our work than each other.
What about Sherry? How could you just leave her all alone while Raccoon City burned to hell?
I couldn't let my daughter grow up in a world with the G-Virus in it.
But that's no excuse for... I got this.
Sorry, William.
No. I got this. You should take care of Sherry. You don't know what you're up against. I have a pretty damn good idea.
Whatever you do,
Don't stop until it's finished. Trust me. This ends now.
Claire without hesitation makes her way down to deal with William and to protect Sherry. Claire fights for her life to survive, using every weapon she has to fight off the mutated William Birkin. After a long and difficult fight, Claire is able to defeat him.
Target has been neutralized. Ending quarantine.
With that done, Claire makes her way back to Sherry.
Hey.
I knew you'd make it. My mom needs help.
Annette?
Sherry. How are you?
Okay. But you don't look so good. Mommy?
Hey, look at the screen. Oh, thank God. So Sherry's gonna be all right? She'll be weak for a little while, but yes. She's free of the G virus. Did you hear that?
What happened to her?
She was attacked by the monsters. Don't worry about me. Take my daughter to safety. I'm sorry, Sherry. For everything. Your life is what is important.
Claire and Sherry do not have time to stick around. The self-destruct sequence has started and they need to get out as quickly as possible. They take the elevator down and begin fighting their way through a number of monsters. After some close calls, the two of them are able to make it to the train. Claire tells Sherry to stay put while she gets the train back online. Claire makes her way into the control room. She picks up the plugs and inserts them into the control panel. This turns the power back on. Meanwhile, Leon enters the facility to find that everything is already opened up. Someone must already be down here. He hopes that it is Claire. Leon first makes his way towards the West Bridge. In here, he discovers a new plant-like monster. Leon uses his flamethrower, as this seems to be the best way to deal with them. After making his way through here, he discovers that someone has killed off Plant 43. He makes his way around and finds a dead scientist lying on the ground. It seems that what he is looking for is not in this area. He begins to make his way back to the control room. As he does, he is greeted by the Tyrant.
Shit! Him again?
The Tyrant has found Leon and he must do his best to run away. As Leon does, the plant monsters are attacking as well. Leon is able to fight his way through them, and with the Tyrant in pursuit, he gets back to the control room and crosses the other bridge. It seems the Tyrant has lost him again. As Leon crosses the bridge, he finds a videotape. Luckily for him, there is a DVD player in the next room. He inserts the tape and watches.
Got eyes on the G-Virus.
Going in.
Dr. Birkin, you'll come along with us quietly.
You think I didn't know you were coming? This is my life's work. I'm not handing over anything.
We have our orders, Dr. Birkin. I'll ask you one more time. Hold your fire! What the fuck were you thinking? Our orders were to bring him in alive! We're in, sir. But we had a snafu. Target resisted. We had to take him out. That's correct, sir. Roger that. Just the samples, then. Let's move.
Leon now knows the complete story of what happened down here. It has also become clear that the US government knows exactly what is going on too, as William Birkin had made a deal to sell the G-Virus to them. Everyone seems to be guilty. As Leon enters the next room, it is clear that a fight has took place here. Leon makes his way down to the lower level where he finds a seemingly dead William Birkin. He deduces that this was Claire's doing. He makes his way up the elevator on the opposite side of the room. It is here that he grabs the virus.
Huh. That was easy.
That is perhaps the easiest thing Leon has had to do all night. With the sample in hand, Leon makes his way out of the facility. As he makes his way back to the elevator, Leon notices that Annette is up against the wall. He runs over to see if she is okay.
Jesus. That looks bad.
It feels worse. Believe me.
Fuck about what you said. I don't know how much I believe.
Just tell me you'll destroy that G sample.
No, it's evidence. It's going to the FBI.
You trust that bitch?
What's that supposed to mean?
She's not FBI. She's a mercenary. She's gonna sell it. The G-Virus is gonna go to the highest bidder.
That's bullshit.
I hope you're right. But if the G-Virus gets into the wrong hands...
Leon doesn't know whether or not Annette is telling the truth. Nothing she has done so far would lead him to believe that she is telling the truth. Leon continues to make his way back to the central room to learn the truth for himself.
I was just thinking about you.
That makes two of us. I was getting worried.
No, we make a good team. I gotta ask you something.
Way's clear. Please, tell me you got it.
Oh, I got it.
Let me verify the G sample when we get the hell out of here.
Before we do that, I ran into Annette. She claims you're not FBI.
Oh, Leon. Why couldn't you just hand over the sample?
Because I realized, as much as I wanted to trust you, I didn't.
I really hoped it wouldn't end up like this.
So that's all this was. I was just some pawn to you?
Look, I'm just doing my job.
And I'm doing mine, so drop that damn gun! I'm taking you in.
Hand over the sample, Leon. I don't want to hurt you.
And you shoot me. But I don't think you can.
No one gets that sample now. Hold on. I think I can...
Forget it.
Shut up, I've got you.
It's not worth it.
Don't do this.
Take care of yourself, Leon.
No!
Ada is gone and Leon knows he has to continue on. He makes his way into the central elevator and towards the exit. Once Leon reaches the bottom of the elevator, he sees Claire on the monitor.
Who's that? Claire!
Leon? You're down here too!
Yeah, but the whole place is coming down. Listen to me. You need to get out. Fast.
Yeah. There's a way out. We can make it. Where are you now?
Claire, are you still there?
Leon? Hey, Leon, you're breaking up.
Forget about me. Just get out of here.
Leon! Leon! Damn!
Before Claire leaves, she notices that there is a minigun on the side. Claire begins to make her way back to the train, grabbing the minigun in the process. Once she gets outside, William returns. Claire uses everything she has left to fight him off. She uses the minigun to continuously shoot at his chest. Eventually, after a number of attacks, Claire is able to kill him. With that, Claire makes her way back onto the train. Leon continues on in the hopes of finding the way out. Whilst making his way through the rooms, he has to battle with a number of monsters. Eventually he makes his way through, but time is running out. To add to this, the tyrant returns and Leon must run away as quickly as possible. Eventually he reaches a dead end.
7 minutes until detonation.
Keep going!
With the tyrant dealt with for now, Leon makes his way out. He notices that there is a lift down the facility. He gets the power back on and begins making his way down. As he does, the tyrant returns, but now it has mutated into something way worse. It is stronger and quicker. Leon uses everything he has left to fight off the mutated tyrant. After a hard fight in which Leon has to avoid the tyrant in such a small area, he is helped by someone who sounds a lot like Ada. A case is thrown down to him and he is told that things are now even. Leon has no idea who it is, but someone is looking out for him. He grabs the box and inside is a rocket launcher. Leon picks it up and aims it at the tyrant. With the tyrant finally dealt with for good, Leon makes his way towards the train.
Shit! Gotta get out of here.
Can't believe I actually miss her.
Leon?
We made it.
Just like I said we would.
Who's this?
This is Sherry.
Okay. Jesus.
What was that?
I don't know. I'll go. You take care of Sherry.
Something has jumped onto the train and Leon goes to investigate. He grabs the ammo that he left on the train and continues moving forwards. As he gets to the end of the carriage, a monstrous thing attacks. Leon has no choice but to shoot it as much as possible. No matter how many times he shoots it, it keeps moving forwards. Eventually, its eye pops out, and Leon continues to shoot at it. After some time, Claire comes to help Leon.
Leon! We've got to lose that car!
So, are you guys like boyfriend and girlfriend?
No. We're just... well, we actually just met last night.
Yeah. That would have been one hell of a first date, though.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Look! He might be able to give us a ride.
What if it's not just the city?
Get Sherry out of here.
Come on.
That was Live Another Day by the great.
He was friendly.
So, is it over?
I don't know. But if it's not, we'll stop it. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, you're damn right we will.
As long as we stick together, we'll be fine. Come on.
Hey, you guys can adopt me.
Adopt you?
We can get a puppy.
Puppy?
And a parrot.
Parrot?
I always wanted pets, but my mom said they're too messy.
The three walk on together, knowing that for now at least, their nightmare is finally over. Unlike the original game, the remake does not use fixed camera angles or tank controls. This creates a different kind of horror that relies much more on lighting and sound. It is amazing to see how different a game can be when you change the camera angles. It makes me intrigued for a potential Resident Evil 1 remake. The developers still abuse the camera angles by placing zombies and monsters around the doors and corridors, meaning that at times you are attacked when you least expect it. The mechanics in the remake are some of the best gunplay mechanics I have experienced in a game. The shooting alone is a reason to play this game. This is helped by the realistic animations you experience from shooting a zombie. Of course, this is helped by advancements in technology, but it is fair to say that Capcom are some of the best developers when it comes to gameplay. As with any survival horror, ammo is scarce, so players have to pick and choose when to shoot a zombie or monster. Sometimes it is best just to leave them alone. However, Capcom are very good at strategically placing these monsters throughout the game. A great example of this is early on in the Claire run. As she is introduced to the Licker for the first time, she most likely does not have the weapon to deal with it, so instead I decided to sneak past it. However, as you walk down the hallway, zombies begin to make their way through the windows. You have no choice but to make a sound, which will get the Licker's attention. It is a great way of creating horror and tension. No longer do players have to wait through animations to enter a room. All doors can be opened by just walking up to them. This changes the game completely for me. I feel as if the horror is not as good with this aspect. This is because you can get halfway through a door, and if it is dangerous, you can just walk away. Whereas in the older games, you had to think quick once you entered a room, as you had no idea what would be waiting for you. Despite this, Capcom do add new mechanics that make up for this, and this is allowing zombies to enter many of the rooms throughout the game. If you think running away from a group of zombies into the next room is a good idea, think again. They can bash the door open, and now once again you are under attack by the undead. A big point I want to bring up is the first and second run of Resident Evil 2. In the original, players had Claire A and Leon B or vice versa. Once you played through the A and B scenario, you had the full story of the game. However, in the remake, the A and B scenario feels very last minute. Now this is because it was a last minute decision. Capcom had no intention originally of adding an A and B scenario. This makes things very hard for me, as trying to combine the two stories together was infuriatingly difficult. This is because Leon and Claire do almost the same things throughout their runs, whether that be defeating Birkin or finding the wristbands in the lab. The stories just don't match up. Now admittedly there were some plot holes in the original as well, but it was much better when it came to combining the stories. For example, when playing as Leon, he cannot get to Chief Iron's room until he receives a message from Claire informing him that she has blown a hole in the wall. If anything, this shows just how great of a game the original really was. This was a point I really wanted to make. It is perhaps the most disappointing aspect of this game. Some may not care, but for me, if the story makes zero sense when you finish your first and second run, then it makes the game seem less impressive. Now overall, Resident Evil 2 is a great game, but this is one big flaw that has to be recognised. The last area to discuss in this chapter is of course the safe rooms. Safe rooms in this game work in the same way as every other game in the past has. The only difference is that there is no music when you enter them. There is music the first time you turn the lights on in these rooms, but you will never hear this music again for the rest of the game. This is disappointing, as I have always enjoyed the safe room music. It gives the players a nice relax from the horrors of the game. Perhaps Capcom didn't want me to have this feeling. Ink ribbons only make a return in the hardcore mode, which I've played before, but it is never as enjoyable due to the amount of ammunition it takes to kill a zombie. This is disappointing for me, as I feel the ink ribbons really help add to the horror of the game. Without them, the stakes just aren't as high. I believe it would be better if the players were given the choice at the beginning of the game. Ink ribbons in previous games really help you to realise how important staying alive is. This is because you know what is at stake if you die, and you know that you have to pace your savings, otherwise you'll run out. This feeling isn't there in the remake. Puzzles make a return in the remake, which is great to see, especially after games such as Resident Evil 5, where Capcom lost their identity. Puzzles for me are fundamental to what makes Resident Evil so great. The game feels like one large puzzle. You feel like you are slightly closer to figuring out what happened in Raccoon City, and one step closer to figuring out how you will get out of there. The puzzles in this game are not particularly hard, but solving each one feels satisfying. The puzzles have been changed from the original game too, but each one also feels slightly familiar, making it just as enjoyable for anyone who played the original before playing this. Seeing Capcom return to their roots over the past 6 years has been enjoyable. It feels as if they have found their identity again, and this can be seen in their use of horror. As previously discussed, the game does a great job at exploiting lighting and sound. One great example of this is the use of the light and the mannequin, making you believe that there is something waiting for you around the corner on the 3rd floor. The sounds of the zombies screaming or the lickers in the distance really help add to the horror too. It makes you feel tense. The sound of the tyrant's footsteps around the station make you question whether he'll be around the corner or behind you. Capcom really have done an amazing job with exploiting these things in the game. The Tyrant, or Mr. X as he is known by many, is a great example of how Capcom built upon the original game. He has never been more scary. In the original, Mr. X was more of a nuisance than a threat. It didn't take a lot for Leon to deal with him, and once you left the room, that was the end of that. Whereas in the remake, Mr. X is relentless in his pursuit of both Leon and Claire, although he seems to have a bigger hatred for Leon. To me, Mr. X is one of the best things about the new Resident Evil game. It was a great addition that helped add to the horror. He was able to create a sense of paranoia. His Terminator-like approach to chasing you was also horrifying. He looked unstoppable, and players learned pretty early on that it is best to just run away from him. Mr. X was a great aspect of the game. It is just a shame that Capcom were unable to make Nemesis like this in the Resident Evil 3 remake. Resident Evil 2 may just have some of the scariest zombies I have ever encountered in a game. In the original games, the zombies are much more of a nuisance. In this game, they are annoying, but they are also horrifying. The noises they make are awful, especially the screams that deafened me at times. The way they lunge at you means you really have to judge your distance well when trying to dodge them. The horrific detail of each one makes them horrifying to look at. It is these factors that make the zombies in this game truly terrifying. You can shoot it in the head and completely remove the skin, and yet it will keep coming towards you. If you have trouble with blood, maybe give this game a miss. They feel so realistic I could honestly play this game just to shoot the zombies. Another point to mention about the zombies is their ability to break through the windows, bash through doors, or even at times fall down flights of stairs only to get back up. There aren't enough superlatives to discuss just how well Capcom made the zombies. Of course, if we talk about Mr. X, we have to discuss William Birkin himself. He appears throughout the game and is a challenge each time. What is great about William Birkin is that he isn't particularly scary, but he is powerful, and so there is tension when facing him. This increases with each run-in you have with him, as his strength increases each time. When you go into this game blind, that is when he is perhaps at his most scariest, as you never know when to prepare for him. And if you are not careful, you could end up severely underprepared. There are of course other monsters you will meet throughout the game, and each one offers a unique challenge. The first is a licker. Lickers can be dangerous, especially when they lunge themselves at you. Therefore, lickers need to be taken out as quickly as possible. You can of course sneak past them, but you have to take into account the fact that at times you may end up being chased by Mr. X. The second monster to discuss are the dogs, who once again cause the players some real problems. They are at their scariest when impacts, so it is best to pick them off as soon as possible. The third monster is the G-monsters in the sewers. These things also need to be dealt with as quickly as possible. If you let them get too close, you could end up being poisoned. However, as long as you are prepared, they are less of a threat than lickers, whose attacks are unstoppable. The fourth monster is the Ivy, which may be the most dangerous monster. This is because if they grab you, it is an instant death. Therefore, players cannot let them get too close. The only upside is that they are pretty easy to deal with, especially if you have a flamethrower. All of these monsters help add to the horror in Resident Evil 2. Capcom have done a great job at building from the original game to make each monster even more terrifying than its original. There are 4 characters I want to discuss. The first is Claire. In my opinion, both protagonists are a step up from their original characters. Claire's character grows throughout the game. As I have mentioned before, her character reminds me a lot of Ripley from Aliens. A great example of this is in the lab, where Claire voluntarily takes the lift down to face Birkin in order to protect Sherry. It reminds me of Ripley's fight against the Queen Alien in Aliens. It is a great moment in the game, and it is one of the many reasons why Claire is one of my favourite video game characters. Claire is able to adapt to her surroundings. This can be seen by her ability to fight off the many monsters in the game. A great example of this is her fighting off Birkin a number of times. Claire jumps headfirst into the world of survival horror. It seems that each time something new is thrown at her, she rises to the occasion. The second character I want to discuss is Leon. Once again, Leon is a much better version of his original character. Perhaps this has a lot to do with the voice acting and the graphics. I just connect with this Leon a lot more. At the start, he is completely out of his depth, but just as Claire does, he is able to adapt to the situation. He too faces adversity but always sees it through. Not only does he fight the tyrant a number of times, he also deals with William Birkin at the end of the game. Leon decides to put himself before others. A great example of this is him deciding to expose Umbrella no matter what, even if he has to die in the process. Witnessing Leon's beginnings in this game really makes seeing the rest of his story so much more satisfying. The next character to discuss is Sherry, who is so much better than her original character. Once again, this has a lot to do with the acting. Sherry's sequence in the game is some of the best horror in the Resident Evil series, and would lay the groundwork for what players would see in Resident Evil 8. Despite only being young, it is fair to say that Sherry is possibly the bravest character in the game. She constantly faces some of the most horrific monsters but never backs down. Each time she fights back, and that tells you everything you need to know about her as a character. The last character to discuss is Ada Wong, who is one of the most intriguing characters in the game. When you are first introduced to her, she seems to know a lot more than what she says she does. You are constantly left guessing about Ada Wong's true intentions. She plays a much bigger role in this game, with her sequences in the sewers helping add more weight to her as a character. Her ability to just turn up at the right time and save Leon on multiple occasions shows just how pivotal she is to the story. Overall, Capcom did a great job at creating characters that players would love for many years to come. Even after just meeting them, you instantly enjoy them, and this is a testament to how good Capcom is at creating great characters. Resident Evil 2 is one of the best horror games I have ever played. I am of course going to be biased as I love Resident Evil as a series. The voice acting, gameplay, graphics, gunplay and horror are some of the best you'll find in a survival horror game. It is clear to see why it received universal acclaim. I have played this game a number of times now, and on each occasion I find it just as enjoyable. However, the plot holes are disappointing, and perhaps were worse for me because of trying to merge the two stories together for this video. Despite this annoyance, I would recommend this game to anyone who loves horror games. Capcom build upon the successes they had in the past and are able to recapture what made Resident Evil so great to begin with. My hope is that Capcom continue to produce great survival horror games that continue to entertain us for years to come. So are you ready to re-enter the world of survival horror?